Previously on Smart Mobility Today, we looked at autonomous trucking, hydrogen-powered trucking, and AI in the Farm Bill. This week's stories focus on a road-based charging system, EV reliability, robots in the ocean climate, satellites, more AV problems, and AI-powered warfare.
You've got something to say, and we can help you say it. Detroit Media Productions is here for your audio, photography, and video needs. DetroitMediaProductions.com.
Hi, this is Cindy Polakowski. In my hometown of Detroit, there was some exciting developments this week. In a story that I've been following for some time, crews have installed the nation's first wireless EV charging public roadway near downtown. The magic occurs as copper inductive charging coils in the road connect with an EV's receivers, charging the battery while the vehicle is moving, idling, or parking. This technology belongs to the Israeli-based company Electrion. The Michigan Department of Transportation says that the quarter-mile length of 14th Street will be used to test and improve the technology, with the goal of making it available to the public in a few years. Demonstrations of the technology were presented this week in Detroit's Michigan Central Innovation District. This technology hub is the same area where the Michigan Central's train station is currently being renovated by Ford Motor Company as a key facility in the company's development of self-driving vehicles. New polling reveals that reliability, or rather a lack of it, is a serious problem for EVs, according to Consumer Reports' annual reliability survey. The top-tier brands in their report are car makers in Japan, Europe, and South Korea. They enjoy ratings of very good or excellent. But for the U.S. companies who have made a commitment to EVs, the survey presents a challenge. EVs do badly in the survey. Interestingly, the technology that consumers favor is one that companies like GM and Ford are moving away from: hybrids. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we are facing a shortage of agricultural workers who are able to use the new farm technologies. That's why 33 campuses nationwide are part of a $262 million program focused on recruiting and training the next generation of agriculture workers. Lincoln University and Missouri University of Science and Technology are two of the campuses involved. Missouri S&T will focus on the development of training for technologies that are becoming more commonplace in the agri sector. According to Hu Yang, chair of Missouri University's Department of Chemical Engineering, we want the students to be knowledgeable about the new technologies and think how to use those technologies and to support sustainable agriculture. Course content will include using drones to apply precision agriculture, developing or improving the soil that is optimized specifically to grow certain crops.
Looking for better ways to manage your IT, phone systems, or remote workforce? Improve your organization using technology that works for you. psntechnology.com.
In Scotland, scientists are using robotic subsea gliders to check ocean currents for signs of climate collapse. Their fear is that the weather system that carries warm and cool water between the Arctic and the Caribbean may be weakening, and that development would have a devastating effect on much of the Earth. The autonomous robots studying this issue are being deployed between the UK and Iceland over a 5-month period. What's at stake is circulation in the Atlantic, critical to the distribution of tropical heat globally and responsible for keeping Northern Europe at a more temperate climate than other locations on that same latitude. We've reported before on the issue of space debris, and the challenge just gets bigger and bigger. Today, the governments of the world are collectively proposing the launch of 1 million satellites. There are currently about 8,000 in orbit around the Earth. A recent op-ed in Space.com by Andrew File and Ewan Wright eliminates the potential issues and threats. Rwanda alone has announced a plan to launch 300,000 satellites. Perhaps more realistically, SpaceX has launched 5,000 and plans for 60,000 more. As the authors point out, if 10% of the filings move to launch, 100,000 satellites would mean more collisions, more space debris, and many more satellites falling back to Earth. burning up in the atmosphere and potentially affecting the climate, while surviving pieces of debris might strike people or aircraft. Currently, members of the International Telecommunication Union, an agency of the United Nations, are meeting for this year's World Radio Communication Conference. They will discuss commercial, governmental, and higher education management of the radio spectrum, as well as the question of access to space, areas of concern at odds with one another. According to the authors, proposed steps toward changing the current trajectory are unlikely until at least 2027. According to an article in the New York Times, driverless vehicles are creating headaches for city officials and represent a threat to citizens. According to the report, in San Francisco and Austin, Texas, where passengers can hail autonomous vehicles, the cars have slowed down emergency response times, caused accidents, increased congestion, and added to the workloads of local officials, said police officers, firefighters, and other city employees. As an example, and in the news recently, 2 Waymo AVs blocked an ambulance from leaving a scene after picking up a patient. This delayed the ambulance arrival at the hospital by 7 minutes and potentially contributed to the patient's death. Related to that accident, there is a debate now in California about how to handle traffic issues that involve AVs. City streets in the state are a testing ground for hundreds of AVs, and there is a growing recognition of a gray area about how law enforcement can act when traffic laws are violated. While driverless cars have been documented running red lights or swerving into construction zones, law enforcement can do little because they can only write a traffic ticket to a human driver. In fact, the San Francisco Police Chief, Bill Scott, has instructed his officers that, quote, no citation for a moving violation can be issued if the autonomous vehicle is being operated in driverless mode. According to Irina Raicu, director of the Internet Ethics Program at the Markkula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University, we are struggling to understand whether driverless cars really are safer than human drivers and in what ways they may not be. Meanwhile, AV makers argue that their vehicles need to log more miles if they are going to figure out how to make them safer. We will be right back.
All right. All right, I'm ready.
We'll be right back. More water.
I can give it a go. Presenting.
I did.
Okay, so do I?
That's why it makes no sense.
Freelancers, gig workers, and entrepreneurs are creating the future of work. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at workshifter.com and follow us at Workshifter on social media.
In the journal Nature, a new report illustrates how robotics and artificial intelligence are working together to accelerate the creation of new materials, including those needed for next-generation electronics and clean energy technologies. According to Google DeepMind team leader, Akin Dojashchubik, a lot of the technologies around us, including batteries and solar cells, could really improve with better materials. Google DeepMind is moving material development ahead by huge factors with an AI system called Graph Networks for Material Exploration. To date, the GNOME system has identified 2.2 million compounds of known materials, resulting in the addition of 381,000 new inorganic compounds added to the materials project database. The advancement has the potential to revolutionize the field of material science by accelerating the discovery of new materials and reducing the time and cost of experimentation. "3D printing is now capable of creating objects using slow curing plastics. For robotics development, this means that very human-like robotic hands can now appear to have bones, ligaments, and tendons. In addition, these hands are capable of feeling pressure when grasping an object. Here's why the development matters. Researchers can now 3D print complex and durable robots from a variety of high-quality materials in one pass. The technique called vision-controlled jetting was created by the Soft Robotics Lab at ETH Zurich, working with the MIT spin-off Inkbit. In today's tech arms race with China, the Pentagon is working on a project to deploy thousands of AI-enabled AVs over the next 3 years. The project, known as Replicator, is evidence of the importance the Pentagon attributes to dominating in the area of AI-powered weaponry. The Replicator project envisions numerous small, smart platforms and is part of a bigger push to modernize the military capabilities of the United States. In the 1990s science fiction franchise Stargate, an android on a planet in the Milky Way creates small robotic creatures with the ability to defend and clone themselves. Eventually, control of these robots is lost, and everybody on the planet is killed, and of course, they were called replicators.
Read these stories and more at globalautomobility.com and subscribe to Smart Mobility today on your favorite podcast platform. Sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and follow us on social media at Smart Mobility Today. Produced by Detroit Media Productions, this is Smart Mobility Today.